In reality, Luis Moreno-Ocampo is a prosecutor, but in essence, you could call him a salesman. He spent the last 8 years of his life peddling a new and radical idea, a system of global justice, the concept that no person, no matter how rich or powerful, should be above the rule of law.
The era of impunity is ending.
As the first prosecutor for the International Criminal Court, the ICC, Luis is out to nail the world's worst criminals, warlords, perpetrators of genocide, and crimes against humanity. Now, since being elected to the position nearly a decade ago, he has brought 13 cases to court, spent more than $1 billion, and has not seen a conviction yet. And for those keeping score, yes, it's not exactly a winning record, and there has been other criticism. Some say the ICC applies a double standard against African nations, I'll ask him about that, and blocks the way for more peaceful solutions. But Luis won't back down. He's issued arrest warrants against 2 sitting heads of state, including this guy. We all know what happened to Gaddafi. But was that a just outcome? Last week, Luis was in Tripoli to see that justice is seen to be done in the trial of Gaddafi's son, Saif al-Islam.
Saif is captured, so we're here to ensure cooperation. The Libyan people have to know Saif will face justice.
And now with his 9-year term at the ICC nearly finished, Luis is the subject of a documentary called Prosecutor. It looks at a tumultuous year in his life as he works to keep a fragile institution on the map. Please welcome back to the program, Luis Moreno-Ocampo. Great to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent. So you got a movie now.
Yeah, that's a Canadian movie.
Yeah, it's a Canadian movie?
Canadian movie. It's great.
It's not a love story. It's
no love there. It's just killings.
It's a lot of, yeah, you know, pretty tragic, right?
No, in fact, no, it hopes also. There are hopes. We are working to stop the killings.
Yeah.
And that the movie showed very well. Also showed our daily work. It was great for me. My kids understand now what I'm doing.
Oh, that's a neat place for your kids to sort of see what, because it's hard to sort of
explain. It's impossible to explain. Yeah, I was in Congo, I was in New York, so how to explain what you are doing? The movie is great.
You know, the other thing that I noticed from it was that it really asked the question, why would anybody want to take this job? It seems like one of the most difficult jobs.
It's the most fascinating job in the world.
Yeah.
It's the most fantastic. I'm working for 7 billion people.
But it's incredibly challenging, isn't it?
That's why it's interesting.
And its best moments, right?
No, each day is best.
Yeah.
Each day is the best. No, it's great. Look, we are trying to do something for the humanity, so it's amazing. So I'm a public servant working not just for one country, like Canada or Argentina. I'm working for the humanity. It's great.
How hard is it to get as much done as you want when you don't have some of the big nations like the U.S. and China and Israel signing on? Is that proposed to be any problems for you?
That was a challenge at the beginning, how we can conduct investigations and arrest people without the support of the big countries. Yeah. But now we did it, we showed that. And we are working with, I was in China 2 weeks ago, worked with Russia, with US. So that in 8 years we put the court from a dream into a reality. That's great.
Well, the end of your term is coming up in the summer, right?
June 16th.
Right. How do you feel about that it's ending?
It's great. It's great, yes. No, it's great because you cannot stay in this forever because it's like you have power, so power has to be limited, so you have to leave. I think it's great. I did my job. I like to pass over to a next prosecutor who could be Canadian, you know, it's a Canadian candidate to replace me.
He's one of the favorites, right?
I don't know. I'm not involved, but I have 4 candidates Canadian. One of them is Canadian. So some of them would replace me. I like the idea to pass an institution.
Robert Petit is the name of the candidate. What are the characteristics? What are the traits a person needs to be good at this job?
Okay, my job was, I had to be a manager. I had 300 persons working for me from 80 different countries. Some of them are police, some of them are diplomats, some of them are lawyers, so prosecutors, judges. So you have to manage a very diverse group with very different instincts. You have to understand how to investigate crimes, but at the same time protect security. For instance, when we investigate Gaddafi, I had to plan the investigation, understand the legal aspect, but also how to protect the witnesses and trying to move fast to show the crime, because we did a justice in real time. We did the investigation at the same time Gaddafi was killing people, so we had to try to stop showing what happened. So we had to combine different, that's why it's so interesting. And you need someone who speaks well and better than me, slowly, clearly, because you need to reach the global community. You are serving the global community, so we had to understand how to explain. So we had to combine all of this. That's why it's so funny.
How do you feel about the way Gaddafi met his end?
It's pity. That's why we are working to put his son, Saif, who is also persecuted, we like to arrest him and put in trial. A good trial would be the perfect ending for this story.
You know, in a sense, as much as there's some element of people's primal need to see, you know, there's that bloodlust that some have. Gaddafi, some say, got what he deserved. But do you think he felt justice? He got justice?
No. Justice is respect. Justice is respect, even respect those who commit awful crimes. That's what we are doing.
Everybody's entitled to justice.
Yes, that's the concept. And people are amazed, even those who don't like our case, they see respect. They see the people talking, judges listening and asking questions, and they see, oh, that is accountability. So the court teaches respect, and that's why it's important to not just stop the crimes, but also show respect for the suspect, analyze the evidence, and then judge's decision. So that's the court of justice.
You hear this other side of the argument where people say that the challenge they have with the International Criminal Court is that some of the people you're trying to bring to justice, you need them to help have a bit of a transition to a peace process, and by you going after them, it's actually muddying the waters. How do you feel about that?
They are wrong, simply.
Yeah.
First, I have a mandate, not my idea. Canada and other 119 countries signed this treaty and told me I had to do this. I had to prosecute people. I cannot be involved in peace negotiations. But those who manage peace negotiations have to understand how to do it, how to understand, because for instance, Saif Gaddafi, they were not just killing people on the squares. They were abducting and torturing people in Tripoli in the areas under their control, because that's the way that they use it to keep in power. So if you let them keep in power, they will keep committing crimes. Right. There's no option for them. So those managing conflict have to do it better. Imagine in Canada, no politician will say, yes, we found this mafia, they were abducting girls to use as sexual slaves. We are discussing to put them, to send to the prosecutor or to give them a position in the government. Yeah. No one will say that. And that's what we are doing in the international scene. Why? Why?
Yeah. But why is it? Because that's what people are asking for, you know.
Because the problem is, in the global system, there is no one government, and will not be one government. But now we have a court who define, okay, this guy committed a crime. So if this guy is committing crimes against humanity, it's over. Forget it.
There's people who say that some of the big countries who haven't signed on because they think that if they did sign on, then some of their own people could be held accountable for their actions. Is that true?
I don't know, it's a national decision, I respect that. But normally the law is for those who has less weapons. So the biggest country with big armies, they believe they can be protected by weapons. The other countries, or Canada, they believe in the law, we're using the law. And that's so, this is a confederation of 119 countries who believe in the law, and that we are promoting.
But even in the Gaddafi case, you're looking at the people who, on NATO, in NATO, who committed some crimes.
My mandate to include to conduct impartial investigations against whoever commit crimes. On NATO, there is now a commission of inquiry presided by a Canadian, Philip Kirch, who will produce a report on March. So right now they are doing the investigation, and we'll see where they end and will follow.
A lot of the people you're looking at now are in Africa, are African leaders, and so there's criticism saying that this appears to be like another neo-colonial tool, and a lot of attention's in Africa.
Yes, I attend Africa because the victims are Africans. So my duty is to investigate the crimes committed against people. I cannot cover up the crime because they were committed by Africans. Right. But if you see international courts, they start in Nuremberg prosecuting Nazis, German people. Then they follow in Yugoslavia, and now we are doing African countries because they are committing, the crimes are there today. So it's not about me targeting African leaders. I am protecting African victims that were not protecting Rwanda genocide. I should not ignore them.
With your experience, especially the last, it'll be 9 years in this position, what do you do next? Where do you apply those skills?
No, I did this. I'm still finishing. I still do more things.
Yeah.
So you have to see the news will be new things. After I will say, because you're right, the world is changing, and the legal scholars are still talking about the 18th century organizations, and we are in the 21st century. We're in Facebook time.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that. I like to help to organize that. I like to help to organize a method to control Somalia piracy, regional crime. So we have to work. We'll see.
There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
The documentary is called Prosecutor, Luis Moreno-Ocampo. We'll be right back.